Hi everybody, I'm coming to you from my garage because it is winter break here in Florida for kids, and the kids are inside of the house and they're very noisy. And I wanted to be able to have you guys hear what I'm saying. So I am in my messy garage. Video won't be too long because I have cats and their litter and their food is in the garage and they'll start meowing and scratching at the door soon. So I wanted to come and speak to you guys today during the holidays about life as a stay-at-home mom. So I wanted to talk about how little it's discussed what life is like for a stay-at-home mom. So I've been working since I was 14. I have my master's degree in criminology and I have a bachelor's in forensic psychology. I put a lot of effort into getting my degrees. I'm proud of them. Unfortunately, I am not using my degrees right now. I resigned from my job as a social service supervisor in a social service program in April of 2017. That was in New York, and then we moved to Florida. So the children's father could pursue a job with a company he really liked, and he was able to get that job he's always wanted. But moving to Florida meant leaving everyone I know in New York. I do not know anyone in Florida. When we first moved to Florida, we landed in Orlando. We stood there for about a year, and then his job wanted to give the children's father even better opportunity, but that required us moving from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale, which is about a 4-hour difference. So after a year in Orlando, we uprooted again and came to Fort Lauderdale, where we've been for 2 years. So since we don't know anyone in Florida, when we arrived in Florida, I knew already that I would be caring for the youngest child full time until we figured out daycare and me going back to work. So unfortunately, when we got to Florida, it's like my fibromyalgia, my chronic pain, my degenerative disc disease, it like took a turn for the worse. The chronic pain became every day much more unbearable. My normal days is pain on like, I don't know, a 7-8, and that's with medication. So financially we couldn't put Samantha, which is now 3, in daycare immediately. So I just became a stay-at-home mom like overnight. This is weird for me, guys, because I was used to working since I was 14. Even with the birth of my other 2 children, with my son, who's now 13, when he was born, I took 6 months off of work. And at that time, I was working child protection in New York with the New York City Department of Children's Services. So I was working very long hours, mandatory overtime. It's a city job, and you don't get paid for that overtime. But you had to do it. And I took 6 months off and then I went back to work. My mom was watching him at that time. Thank God for mom, right? And then with the birth of my second child, I was only able to stay out, I think, 2 or 3 months from work because at that time I was single, still, single, not really, how should I say, ready to say that someone else was helping me. Kind of helping me, but I was basically, when you're a mom, you basically do everything. So I was only going to stay out 2 months. So went back to work. Now with the third child, I stayed out 2 months again, and I had to go back to work because you have bills. 3 kids, rent, cars, bills. You have bills. So I had to go back to work in 2 months. 2 months. And with all 3 children, it was my mom who cared for them while I was at work. I have a really good mom, guys. So when we moved and I became a stay-at-home mom, it was just like In the beginning, like the first few months, it was great. I was able to just stay home, not have to worry about commuting to work, not having to worry about being told um, what tasks and assignments I needed to do, not worrying about home visits, field visits, conferences, not worrying about clients, not worrying about reviews, um, not worrying about things, that a lot of people who work worry about. Unless they like their job or they're their own bosses, if you're a normal employee like I was, you worry about things. And you also, and everybody has done this at some point. They're like, oh, I wish I didn't have to work. Oh, I don't want to go to work. Oh, it's Monday. Oh, where's the weekend? So, I used to say things like that too, even though I liked what I did. I liked helping people. There would be days where I didn't want to go to work because with social work, the work is overwhelming and never ends. And you're basically dealing with people's lives. I was providing counseling to families at risk of their children being removed from their homes. So it was very serious business. First few months was wonderful. I absolutely loved being home with my daughter. She's amazing. She's like, I don't know. She's like, I kind of feel like I've met her before. Sometimes joke with my mom and say, I think it's my dad who has passed. I think he's like in her. I don't know. I just feel like I know her before. And we're very, very similar. So, just it was wonderful spending days with her and, playing with her, making things with her, just watching her grow, teaching her. All while, don't forget, dealing with chronic pain, dealing with chronic invisible illnesses, because I do have fibromyalgia. No cure for that. I do have degenerative disc disease. No cure for that. I do have an arachnoid brain cyst. No cure for that because no neurosurgeon wants to touch it. There are very few neurosurgeons that remove arachnoid brain cysts. And, having invisible illnesses, people look at you. You look fine, you look chubby, you look healthy. People don't know you're sick. So, in Orlando, taking care of my children, the other two are in school. So during the day it was just me and Samantha. I did all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the grocery shopping, all the laundry, everything that has to do with the kids in school, all of my medical appointments, all of that stuff, all while dealing with chronic pain. And despite the enjoyment of being with my child all day, I was in pain. I am in pain all the time. And my pain was getting worse. So even with pain management, even with being on Weight Watchers and losing weight and exercising as much as I could, the pain was getting worse and the lower back pain was becoming excruciating. So at that point, I just couldn't see how I could return to work in the condition that I was in. So that was the year in Orlando. And then, we moved to Fort Lauderdale. I found another pain doctor, found a new medical doctor. Pain was getting much worse. After going to different doctors and evaluating my back, it was determined that I had severe lower instability in my L5-S1 vertebrae, which is kind of like what people call your tailbone, I guess. And it was determined that I needed back surgery. So I wasn't going to go apply for a job knowing that I needed back surgery. Who wants to start a new job and then ask for time off? And we know that when we get a new job, it takes months for insurance to kick in. It takes months for time off to kick in. And to me, it didn't seem smart to start a new job and then have back surgery. I said, let me have back surgery and then I'll start a new job. And then also, so I knew that was the plan. So I said, let me get Samantha used to being in daycare, because after this back surgery, I'm flying out of this house, going to work. I'm going to go do what I need to do. And the reason behind that is not because I was tired of taking care of my toddler. It's because, number one, I wanted her to socialize with other kids her age. She was, home alone all day with me. We really didn't get out much because of my condition. Can't stand for long, can't walk for long, can't lift, can't get on the floor, can't roll, can't climb. So very few trips to the park unless I was with someone. And I just, I felt bad for her. I felt like maybe she was bored and she needs to be with people her own age. So mustered up some money and put her in daycare. She lasted in daycare for 1 month. She did not like it. Every day was a battle. When I would take her, she would cry. All the while in the car, when I was dropping her off, she actually tried to escape from the daycare guys. I had, some calls from daycare staff that every time I would leave, she would try to run behind me. She would get past the door, but not the front door because it was locked. And, I just felt so bad leaving her, but I said, let me stick to it. She has to get used to it. When she turns 4, she has no choice but to start school. So I wanted to start her early. It lasted a month. I took her out. I had the surgery, and unfortunately, I had the surgery in January 2019, and 8 months later, I was in excruciating pain still, and I was trying to find out what was wrong with me. Turned out I never fused. The fusion was a failure. It was unsuccessful. I found out I needed a revision. So I just had a revision in September. So now September, October, November, I'm 3 months post-op, my second fusion surgery this year. I have 4 screws, 2 rods, a plate, 2 devices. 2 devices, 4 screws, 2 rods, and a metal plate in my lower back. Yeah. I don't have the same pain that I did after the first surgery, but I am not pain-free. I am still healing. I don't know if I'm fusing well. I have to make an appointment and go to the doctor, but I still have lower back pain. Of course, I still have my fibromyalgia pain. I still get my headaches and have my memory issues. And so I know for the rest of my life, I'm going to be suffering from invisible chronic illnesses. And I've kind of accepted that. As far as being a stay-at-home mom, it has its ups and downs, but I wanted to come and share how life is as a stay-at-home mom because, as I said, it's not discussed much, and I think a lot of mothers, for the fear of sounding ungrateful or like they don't love their children or fear of sounding whiny or being complainers, they don't discuss it enough. So I'm here to tell you, you're not a whiner, you're not a complainer. We know you love your children, and you're not alone. So the reason I'm saying that is because being a stay-at-home mother is very, very, very demanding, hard, selfless, thankless, trying, stressful, isolating, can be depressing, joyful, loving, adventurous, beautiful. It's a combination of pros and cons in my book. But I'm here to discuss the cons. So I wanted to discuss isolation and depression, which is something that I've experienced as a stay-at-home mom. Like I said, I've been a stay-at-home mom since April 2017. I don't have any friends or family in Florida. Everyone I've known my whole life is in New York. I've only been in Florida since 2017. So I left my whole support system in New York. My mom does come to visit me as much as she can, and my sisters come to visit me. I'm here with my 3 kids, and the oldest 2 go to school, and then I'm home all the time, day and night, with my 3-year-old Samantha. It is very hard being with a toddler all day and all night and not having friends that come to visit, not having friends that really call you on the phone. My biggest connection is social media. I'm on Facebook groups. I do have Instagram, and of course I have this YouTube channel. But it can be very isolating. Days and days will go by and I will not have interaction with another adult other than my husband. And that interaction sometimes is minimal because he works 6 days a week. And when he comes home, he basically is sleeping because he's tired. So I have no adult interaction. I mean, I speak to my mom and my sister over the phone, but I don't have any other people that come over or that, call me. I mean, even some people that I knew from New York don't reach out. Maybe it was because of the move. It can be because they don't know what to tell me because they have heard that I do suffer from chronic illnesses that have no cure. So maybe they just don't know how to approach me, or I don't know. But it's extremely, extremely isolating. Peer conversation and connection is so important for someone's emotional health. Just someone checking in on you, it, could make your day. Someone just, reaching out and saying, are you okay? Is there anything you need to, discuss? How are you? It's so important. It's so important because being a stay-at-home mom can be very isolating. It can also be very overwhelming because you have a 24/7 job. And I say job because it is a job. Because it is physical labor, it is emotional labor, it is mental labor. I mean, it's demanding. And I don't get to clock out. I don't get coffee breaks. I don't even get to use the bathroom alone. Because as soon as I go into the bathroom and I close the door, she's knocking on the door. Can I come in? I want to see you. I love you. Open the door. So it's like I don't even get to use the bathroom by myself. And it's very demanding, you're always on call. You're always on call, changing pull-ups, making dinner, making lunch, making breakfast, doing laundry, cleaning. I mean, and I have 3 children, 2 cats, and 2 birds, guys. So I'm always doing something, even with chronic pain. So let me tell you, having to do all these things when you were healthy is hard. Can you imagine having to do all these things while having a chronic illness? I have 3 children, ages 13, 8, and 3. They do have chores, but again, children, they just don't have the same standards that adults would have in terms of cleanliness, in terms of organization, in terms of teamwork. So almost everything falls on me in the house. I do a sign like I can't mow the lawn. I just can't. It's too much for my body. I can't do it. So my teenager does that. Sweeping and vacuuming. My 8-year-old helps me with that. 3-year-old, she puts her toys away, tries to help me feed the cats. So I don't do a lot of bending because again, I'm 3 months post back surgery. But I still do everything here. I do all the grocery shopping. I do all the laundry. I do all the cooking. I do all the cleaning. I do all the caring for the children, all their medical appointments, all their school stuff, all my medical stuff. I do it all. But I am not a super woman. I have a lot of breakdowns. I have a lot of moments where I have to go into my bedroom and close the door a little for mommy timeouts because sometimes I am in so much physical pain that it causes me emotional pain because at this point, I do not believe that my children or my husband understand my conditions. Since they do see me doing everything, they think that I am fine because I look okay. I don't walk with a cane. I only did that when I was, maybe the first month after surgery. Don't walk with a cane. I walk pretty normal, a little limp here and there. They cannot see any bruises, any scars, any cuts, any wounds. They can't see any of that. So it's kind of hard for them to grasp mommy is sick. Mommy has medical issues. Mommy's in pain. And even if I express I'm in pain, they kind of just look at me and go back to what they're doing. And sometimes this makes me angry and sometimes it hurts my feelings. So before I start, getting moody and screaming, I'll give myself a timeout. I'll go to my room. Maybe I'll watch TV. Maybe I'll listen to some music, or maybe I will just take a hot shower and try to distress. The hot shower doesn't often work because, like I said, after 2 minutes of being in the bathroom, there's a knock on the door. So what I've had to do many times is bathe, shower with my 3-year-old. That's the only way that I can stay longer in the bathroom is if she's in there with me. So, being a stay-at-home mom is very, very, very demanding. As I was saying, you're just always on call. You don't really get breaks. You have to do it all. and you're expected to be happy about it because you're not going out to work. Oh, so sometimes you hear comments, well, you don't work? You get to stay home all day? Oh my God, you're so lucky. You don't have to worry about working, about, being watched, about clocking in, clocking out, and the commute, and dealing with customers, or dealing with horrible bosses. You don't have to worry about all that. But let me get something very, very clear to all of you who are very confused about what stay-at-home moms do. Is we work, and I want to make that very clear. We work 24/7. We are just not paid in monetary form. We do not get paychecks. We do not get direct deposits. We don't get bonuses. We don't get holiday parties, but we work. And the joy that we get is seeing our children be happy, be taken care of, knowing that we're trying our best to raise productive, healthy citizens, is kind of the pay that we get. I mean, the pay that we get. Kids aren't angels 24/7. They can be very naughty. And so raising children is very stressful. I mean, raising one is stressful. Can you raising three and then having chronic illnesses? It's really, really, I mean, no, I'm not Superwoman, but I like to think of myself as being pretty damn close. Because there's a lot of people who suffer from fibromyalgia or who have had spinal surgeries and are bedridden, can't get out of bed because of the pain, or they're immobile. And I'm in excruciating pain all the time. As I'm talking to you, I'm in pain. It's maybe like, I don't know, a 6, 7 right now. And that's normal. That's normal. I'm never pain free. I take medication. It helps with the pain. It doesn't take the pain away. It doesn't cure it. And that's what people don't understand. And sometimes people think, oh, you've had a back surgery, so you're fine. You can go back to work now. You can do everything. There's a process that has to happen after surgery called healing. And we're talking about your spine. We're not talking about, having your finger splinted. Oh, speaking of finger splints, see guys, I fractured my finger a few weeks ago trying to move furniture, which I should not have been doing because I had back surgery. But if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. I just wanted to move something, and it turns out I didn't want to put the pressure on my lower back, so I put it on my arms and my hands and kind of, fractured my finger. So, but this hurts, but this is bearable. I can live with this. I know that this will heal. It's hard when you know that everything else going on with you is not going to heal. It's not going to get better. It's just not. I've tried everything. So, having chronic illnesses and having constant pain and having the demands of being a stay-at-home mother, so it can be very depressing. And I say depressing because I have experienced depression since being a stay-at-home mom. Not to say that I was super happy all the time being a working woman, but my emotional health was a lot better. I was interacting with peers. I was, having lunch dates, having coffee with friends. I had income. Which I miss greatly. I had income. I just felt like my mind was constantly being stimulated. I was helping people. I was just, working. I was being a woman with goals. And not that I don't have goals now, but things are different. And so it can be depressing when you are always on your feet, cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, doing grocery shopping, taking care of people, and you don't get a thank you. And you don't get a, how was your day? And you don't get a, wow, you must be tired. Why don't you sit down and put your feet up? I mean, it's hard enough when you don't get that as a person who is healthy, but as a person who suffers from chronic pain and you don't get that, it's like a double stab in the chest, right? A double stab. Because it's not only I'm doing a lot and I'm getting no recognition, but also I'm doing a lot and you know that I suffer from pain and still get no recognition for everything I'm doing. So it can be depressing. You feel as though nobody cares what you do, that you're not appreciated. Sometimes you feel trapped because you have so much on your plate, so much to do, and you can get it done. And the next day, it's the same thing over again. So I have a little problem. I'm like a neat freak, and I absolutely hate messes, which is very challenging when you suffer from chronic illnesses and you just had 2 back-to-back back surgeries. Nobody in this house shares my problem of cleanliness. They don't care. The kids don't care if the house becomes an episode of Hoarders. They don't care. And I have to say, neither does my husband. They don't care. So, and I think it's the fact that they know if they don't do it, that I'm going to do it. Okay, so while I was talking to you guys, I had to take a break because apparently my toddler threw a whole bowl of cat food inside of the washing machine. So I had to dig it all out and make sure I clean it all out so that when I go to do laundry, I'll go to wash some clothes. It doesn't smell like tuna fish, the clothes. Don't mind the tears. This happens every now and then when I start to feel a little overwhelmed. And I am a little overwhelmed because the kids have been home since December 20th, which was actually my birthday. So they had half a day from school that day, and they've been home since midday December 20th. And it's now, I don't know. I don't even know what day. Oh, the 26th. So they've been home consistently day and night for a few days. So I am overwhelmed. The house is messier than ever. The laundry is piled up. The living room looks like a tornado hit it. Dishes in the sink. I'm constantly doing as much as I can, but again, I'm only one person. My back hurts from constantly bending down and you know, like I said, they're children. They don't understand organization or the reason why the house has to be clean. And then when you tell them to clean, it's like they look at you like you have 3 heads. So I felt a little stressed out when I had to clean out the kibble from the washing machine. So yeah, I kind of felt the need to scream, but instead the tears started welling up in my eyes. And so for every stay-at-home mom that hasn't had a crying attack or some type of nervous breakdown, you're doing it wrong. Because at some point, everything you're doing is going to, that was my wrist, guys. At some point, it's gonna get to you, and you're gonna be, I'm very tired, and I'm usually in bed by 8:30 because I'm just exhausted. And you know, the little one wakes up between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. every day. And I do suffer from insomnia because of the back pain and the fibromyalgia. I can never find a comfortable position, so I toss and turn all night. When I finally do get some good sleep is around maybe 3 or 4 in the morning, and then she gets up at 5. So during the day, I'm of course fatigued because of the fibromyalgia, but also because of the insomnia. And so I'm running on fatigue and insomnia, and then I have all these things on my plate to do. So that whole misconception of us not working is a lie. I won't say a misconception, it's just a flat out lie. We work all the time, 24/7, 365. And when people are just getting home from work and they get to sit back and eat what you've cooked and rest on that clean, rest in that clean living room you've cleaned, and put on those clean pajamas that you've washed, I don't think oftentimes they realize that you're the reason why all of this is available to them. And when you don't get that thank you, or that I appreciate everything you do, or you must be tired, you need a break, or why don't you go spend some time by yourself, go take a long shower, or you need to go to bed early, do you need a massage, what do you need? I have to be honest, I don't ever get that. I don't ever get it. And I think it's because people see that I'm just so strong and so capable, and in their eyes capable of doing it all. They don't see the need to help me. And I have to keep, I've spoken to my family about my conditions, about my symptoms, about my emotions, about just how I feel being a stay-at-home mom, how I feel having chronic invisible illnesses, just how I feel not working, not having friends. And I don't know if they understand, but to all you stay-at-home moms who do everything, who's the therapist, who's the housekeeper, who's the secretary, who's the accountant, who's the nurse, who's the monster destroyer, who is the princess who storms the castle with their toddler, the playmate, the disciplinarian, the cuddle monkey. I see you. You're not alone. You're super. And if nobody tells you you're appreciated, I appreciate you, because you're doing a really hard job. You're raising people. People that you created. You're raising them. You're teaching them. You're taking care of them. You're loving them. You're feeding them. You're providing clean sheets for them to lay on when they go to sleep. You are valuable. You're worthy. You're not lazy. You're not uneducated. Because that's what people think when you're a stay-at-home mom. Oh, they must be uneducated. Oh, they must be lazy. Oh, they're so lucky. It's not about any of those things. Like I said, I have a master's degree. I've been working since I was 14. And I'm a stay-at-home mom now. A combination of things. Like I said, I have a little person that I'm raising, and I'm fighting a never-ending battle with chronic invisible illnesses. So I don't know who's watching this. If you're the stay-at-home mom, or if you're married to a stay-at-home mom, or you know a stay-at-home mom, we have to do better. We have to give stay-at-home moms the credit they deserve. They work just as hard as moms who go out and work. Just as hard. And, we don't get paid. In love, yes, but we don't get paychecks. And sometimes I'm just so tired and so stressed, and I feel like my head is gonna explode and I need a break. Sometimes I call my mom and say, I need you to come to Florida and stay with these kids for like a week. I need to get away. I just want to go to like a hotel and spend a weekend by myself doing absolutely nothing. That's okay. It's okay to need a break. It doesn't mean you don't love your kids. Doesn't mean you want to abandon them. It is okay. You need a break. And whoever doesn't recognize that a stay-at-home mother needs a break, she needs time for herself, is blind and is incapable of empathy. We need a break. We deserve it. But like I said, the isolation and the depression could be overwhelming. But if you need to reach out, if you need to comment, message me, whatever you need to do, I'm available if you need to talk. If there are any stay-at-home mommies in the South Florida area, you want to connect, comment. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure there'll be another video about this topic. So let me know any thoughts, any comments, and then happy holidays, everybody. Thank you for watching.